Hey everyone, in the last video I did, I talked about this Carey smart canner that I just got, and I wanted to go over, I told you I was going to do some canning this weekend and show you how it worked, and I want to do that. At the end of this video, I'll show you how the pressure canning, the whole process is, but I also did some water bath canning, made some jelly, made some pickles, and then I also tried this large jar of pickles. It's not quite, you can't fill it all the way to the top of these, and in the manual it says to use the low setting to pressure can these, so I tried that as well. With the water bath canning, it's pretty simple, and I'll come over here and show you. With all of this stuff, I use the recipes right in this book right here, this ball book, and they all worked pretty good. So, but anyway, the water bath canning is pretty simple. You just hit the water bath or the steam function. You set your time up to whatever it is. For the pickles, it was 15 minutes, and you just hit start. And you set this thing up here to exhaust, and once that starts putting out a steady stream of steam, then you hit your start button one more time, and it starts that countdown. And then once it's done, you just kind of let it'll shut itself off, and you let all the steam out. This won't let you open it until you're not going to hurt yourself, basically. And then once you do, you open it up and take those out. Now with the larger quart jar, like I said, I couldn't fill it over the water over the top of the jar, and that would be past the 4/5. So in the book it says to hit the low setting, put your time and hit start, and then that dial starts spinning, and then once it builds up the pressure, then it'll start the countdown. So that, I'm not real sure about that process, because I'd like to follow the procedures the way they're supposed to be. So that one, it looks good, but that one will go that's not going to go in the pantry. That'll go straight into the refrigerator, and I'll use it. But my concern was that these were going to deteriorate. That's why you can't just pressure can everything, because the stuff just breaks down, potatoes and stuff like that. But these look pretty good, so that low setting is pretty good. The pickles right here, they all turned out good. I haven't tasted these yet. I have tried the chicken soup though, and I'll show you in a second how the whole pressure canning system works though. I also steamed some rice in it, which is really easy. You hit that water bath steam button, you set the timer for 5 minutes, or 4 minutes actually. You put 1 cup of rice with 1 cup of water, or 2 cups to 2 cups, it's 1 to 1. A little bit of oil or butter, and you're good to go. And then what you do after that 5 minutes is up, you just let this naturally, you put that to airtight, you let it naturally exhaust for 10 minutes, and then you switch this over, you switch this over to exhaust after that 10 minutes is up, and let it go, and it cooks it absolutely perfect. So this is great for that. With the chicken soup, I tried some of this chicken soup I put some rice in it, and really good. The flavor is a little bit stronger after you pressure can than before, but it's not a bad flavor. The chicken, as expected, it's a little bit drier than, say, if you're cooking it in a pot, but that's kind of what it is. So I think I also made some beef stew. I haven't tried this yet, but I'm sure that's pretty good as well. What I plan on doing with this is maybe not canning so much, like large amounts of it, but if I ever make beef stew, or if I ever make chicken soup or anything like that, make a big pot of it, and then I can can a few jars of it and have that, good to go for a month or two. I don't plan on having this stay good for 1.5 years or whatever, but if it does, if it sits there for that long, at least I know it's good. So anyway, let me show you how the pressure canning function on this works. It's all pretty easy, and like I said, I did this all on the weekend. A lot of the time that it took to do this was the actual cooking of it, but after that, you put it in your jars, you do the canning process, you put it in here, and you just let it go. And once it's done, it stops, and then you can let this pressure release until the lid opens, and then take it out. A couple of the errors I had were human errors, because when you're pressure canning, you're supposed to leave this on airtight, or switch it to airtight once it builds up that pressure, and I didn't do that. So it just counted down from E10, and it just flashed E0, and I didn't know what the heck I did, because it's not in the manual here, so I had to figure it out trial and error. Also, it seems like if you move it while it's in that process, you can trip one of the safety features, and it just won't work. Again, it doesn't throw up the air, it just stops working, so it's a little trial and error. Let it cool back down, open it up, figure out what you did, unplug it, replug it back in, and I got it to work again, basically. But all in all, I'm impressed with the machine. It's perfect for in here. It's nice and convenient, and I can do a lot of things. without, you know, the huge process that canning can be sometimes. In the future, once I start building up and want to can more stuff, I'm sure I'll do the outdoor propane burner type thing. But anyway, I do like it. But anyway, here is the process of pressure canning meat, and this is how it turned out. All right, so real quick, I want to show you how this machine works. I'm not going to go through the whole canning process because there's a lot of videos about that. I just want to show you how this machine works. So first, start throwing the cans in there. First, you put 4 cups of water in the canner itself, and then it'll fit 4 wide mouth quart jars, or 3 of the regular jars, or 8 wide mouth pint jars. But I'll put these 4 in here, and then I'll show you how all the timers and all that work. It's not, the manual's not all of that detailed. So anyway, you put those in there, you have your 4 cups of water, you close the lid, put it on the closed position, plug it in, and I have the 15 psi gauge on there because I live in higher altitudes. You might even want to do that just to, you know, just as an extra precaution. I don't know how that affects the food. But anyway, with this, for pressure cooking, you can water bath and steam, you can low pressure, or you can pressure cook, slow cook. Right now we're going to pressure cook, or pressure can. So we're going to hit the high, and then we're going to make sure this is on air, or on exhaust, and then we're going to push the time. Just hold that until you get to 90 minutes because this is beef stew. And then after that, you just hit the start button, and then this will start circling around like that until it gets hot enough. And then what it'll do is it'll start exhausting. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch the whole thing. I'll fast forward, but then it'll start exhausting and it'll show E10. So let's wait till it starts to do that. All right, so this is starting to steam now, and pretty soon this is going to start flashing E10. Let me see if I can turn it so you can see it a little bit better. Still going, but in a second it'll show the E10, and then what it'll do is it'll count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. It takes a little while for that to happen too, but once it gets to once it starts flashing E10, you need to turn that to airtight, and then it'll start its countdown, and then once it's at pressure, then your timer will start right there, and that's all you need to do. So let's wait for that to happen real quick. All right, so there goes to E10. So what we need to do is turn this to airtight, which is right in the middle. And then what this whole process is when you have a regular pressure canner, they tell you to let it steam for about 10 minutes, make sure it builds up the correct pressure and all that. That's what this whole process is. Right now, this will start counting down to 1. And then it will flash the timer. What that is this is building the pressure inside now up to the 15 psi that the valve carries right there. And then once that's up to the correct pressure, it will set your timer. And then after that, you're good to go. What you do is you just wait for it to stop. The timer will count down. This thing will turn off. And then you wait about a half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour sometimes until the pressure is released enough where you can open this. It's got a safety feature where it won't let you open it unless the pressure's all gone. But that's basically it. It's pretty easy, pretty simple to use. And this is a beef stew. I've also done some chicken soup. And the cool thing about these is that if you're at all worried about the botulism or anything like that, what I plan on doing with these is once I heat them on the stove, just boil them for 5 to 10 minutes. Make sure I don't have to worry about that at all. But that's basically it on this. If you have any questions, let me know, but we'll talk to you later.